Alright guys, so back in a new video. This video is by Water CS2 channel, so definitely go and check out his channel. So this video is usually, or as I think from the title, is talking about the action lawsuit that was from 2017, I think, or something like that, against Steam antitrust thing about that the 30% fees from Steam isn't legal or something like that, or is against the federal regulations for selling like video games or stuff like that. So it's something very complicated back to 2017. This actually affects some developers that published games since 2017 till now. So you might be one of those, because me too, I'm one that published multiple video games since 2017. So as the title suggests, it looks like Epic, Microsoft, and Ubisoft are with Steam in this lawsuit, so we might see some new drama about this Steam drama in the past few months, which was crazy, to be honest.
Is Steam's grip on PC gaming about to loosen? Epic Games, Microsoft, and Ubisoft are now tangled in a massive antitrust lawsuit against Valve, and it could change how you buy games. This isn't a new case, it's the ongoing Valve antitrust litigation, which began back in 2021 when developer Wolfire Games started a fight over Valve's 30% fee, claiming it violates federal antitrust laws. Things really ramped up a few months ago when the case was certified as two separate class action lawsuits, one for developers and one for consumers. Right now, we are less than a few weeks away from the developer class being finalized. This lawsuit involves every single developer who sold a game on Steam since 2017. As we speak, they're all being notified with emails and physical mail telling them that they are automatically included in this lawsuit against Valve unless they formally opt out by a September 2nd deadline. As we wait for this to happen, something big just went down. Microsoft, Ubisoft, and Epic Games, some of Valve's biggest rivals and competitors, are now handing over their most confidential documents for this case. Depending on how this case goes, it could force Valve to change how it operates, or it could prove that Steam is the king of PC gaming. And
in my opinion, Steam gonna see some changes because of what happened in the past few months. It's something that is, when you put so much pressure on something, even if it was a very solid metal, it will change its nature in the future, especially for a very long time. And we saw that multiple companies and multiple people are pressuring Steam in a very, very hard way. So definitely, I think Steam will not be able to handle all this pressure. Especially, it was a very big pressure from not just from this action lawsuit, it came just from also the payment process. So there is a lot of pressure going with Steam nowadays, so I don't think they will stand it without some actual change.
Is going to change that. Now, let's break down the most surprising part first, the alliance. You might think that Epic Games, Microsoft, and Ubisoft would want to see Valve taken down a peg, which I'm sure they do, but they're not here in this case to fight. Instead, they're here to protect their own secrets. These companies were all subpoenaed, which is a legal order from the court, forcing them to hand over highly sensitive data to the court as evidence. But because all of these documents are so confidential, they all filed motions to keep that information under seal, arguing that if it becomes public, it would cause major competitive harm. So all their information will be hidden to the public unless some slip-ups happen.
Alright, so gatekeep the information. They don't want their gatekeep information being public because the competitive market's gonna crush them down in a very multiple ways. So this is a very understandable move from them. As a very big company, $1 billion company, your gatekept confidential information is one of the most important things that you have. So you really need and want to keep that out from as much people as you can.
For this very lawsuit, which is how we learned how much money Valve employees make. First, just a few days ago on August 21st, we saw filings from Ubisoft. Through several declarations, the company revealed it was subpoenaed for a wide range of sensitive information, including eternal financial performance data, which could give competitors a clear look into Ubisoft's profits and expenses. The company also had to hand over data
which could like make you see a lot of how much of the pipelines actually work in these companies, which is something that these companies don't want to go for their competitors, because it will make them understand how to take down this company and how to outgrow them. So this is why such confidential information is trying to be gatekept inside these companies as much as they want, which is something understandable, to be honest, because you don't want people to know all the data, especially confidential information in your company. It's gonna suck for you in the markets.
Customer behavior and distribution strategies, revealing how its own platform, Ubisoft Connect, performs against rivals like Steam. Ubisoft's filings also confirmed that it produced expert reports containing confidential information, and its lawyers went through a meet and confer process with all the parties to ensure the sealing was unopposed. By joining Valve's motion to seal, Ubisoft shows that it has a shared interest in protecting their secret business data from becoming public. The next day, on August 22nd, Epic Games filed their own motion. Their court documents reveal they had to hand over internal survey results comparing Steam and Epic Game Store users, providing critical insights into customer behavior and preferences. The filing also detail Epic's content deal structures, which are key to its strategy of securing exclusive titles. A board presentation from Epic was also submitted, containing sensitive information on deal terms, revenue, market share, and investment strategies. The company's argument to keep this information sealed is straightforward. Public disclosure would undermine its competitive position and harm relationships with developers.
Yeah, again, because the people that are related to these companies, not only the companies themselves, want to keep their information secret too, just for confidentiality reasons, or just because they don't want as much competition in the market as it could happen after like these information get released. So it makes sense why, even if you would want to be aligned with your competitors like Epic, Microsoft, Ubisoft, and Valve. Yeah, they are very strong competitors, but they don't want their information, confidential information, to be shared with the public, because this means even bigger competition gonna happen to them, which could harm their users and interface very much. So that's why they're trying to keep it, just to keep their business alive as much as possible. Yeah, there's a lot of legal details to be covered right there. I want to check the full files after this video. I might make a video reading the whole files.
Developers. Epic, having successfully fought its own antitrust cases, is well versed in the importance of protecting such data. Finally, Microsoft joined in. Their filings show the company is fighting to protect its confidential data related to the Xbox Store on PC. The documents they want to seal include non-public gaming revenue data from 2017 to 2023, including title-specific performance. This level of detail could expose which games are most profitable and how their performance has changed over time. Microsoft also
again, this information usually could be bought by millions of dollars, because these data are very, very, very classified in such companies. These data is something that could bought with a lot of money. So they of course want to make it as confidential as possible, because it would really suck for them not to be.
Wants to protect pricing data for its Xbox Store and non-public third-party transaction values, which could reveal the terms of its deals with developers and partners. The company argues that public disclosure would not only harm its competitive position, but could also ruin partner trust and mislead investors.
Publishers don't want to really see their data also being shown to public, because they rely on these data a lot, especially publishers that are not the one that make video games, the one that just publish video games, would get really harmed by these data if they are shown.
Investors. So you might be wondering, why are all these rivals working together? And it's pretty simple. They're all united in one argument, that there are important reasons for the court to keep this information secret. It's a rare and very public show of a common interest, as each of these companies don't want their secrets to be revealed.
Yeah, again, at this, you can relate this to other problems that might happen with, for example, payment processors. If a very big lawsuit happened between Valve and other like payment processors just because of the new drama, many people think that the other platforms like Epic Games or Xbox Store, stuff like that, Microsoft Store, would don't care, but it's the complete opposite. Because they are in the same line, their time that might come to them, so they will try to put things that make Steam miserable as soon as possible, and for the same thing for Steam if it happened with Epic Games or something like that, just because they know they are next in line, so they don't want something as bad as this happening to them, so that's why they support each other. Because they do not only have these platforms, they have different businesses, branches, and these platforms generate them a lot of money, so a very big L for any platform would go to the other platforms as well.
Now, while all that was happening, Valve made a move that can change the entire game.
Just like payment processors, many people told me, oh, it's gonna be just Steam, and some people that hate Steam, like fuck Steam users, nobody care about them, and then it happened to HIO, so yeah, and it might happen to other stores, so that's why they do not ignore such stuff.
Case. They filed a motion to dismiss the claims from the consumer plaintiffs. That's the gamers who are a part of a separate class action. Valve's lawyers argue that the gamers' claims simply aren't strong enough. The key difference here is that the developer class argues that Valve's 30% cut is an abuse of a monopoly, while the consumer class has to argue that this cut leads to inflated game prices that harm gamers directly.
No,
Any
any developer or a developer that tells you that a game, a 30% cut, like I am a developer, and most of the budget is being going to marketing and the production itself. And in bigger production, AAA production, it's because of old pipelines. That's why they are not able to make video games with less budget, just like Expedition 33, and with the small teams. It's just because their pipeline are very old and stupid and filled with middle management. So that's the reason why the budget on the game prices goes very high, especially with inflation. It's not about the 30% Steam cut, unfortunately. This is not true. They just say that because it's gonna increase the revenue that they get. It's totally absurd. That's totally not the reason or the only reason that is making. It might help in a very little percentage, but they will not decrease the prices. They will just get more revenue share. That's it. They will just get more income and money. Because the problem, again, it's in their core production pipeline and marketing pipeline. It's not about the 30% cost, believe me.
First, they say that the 30% revenue share is not supra-competitive. In antitrust law, a supra-competitive price is one a company can only change because it holds a monopoly. Valve argues this fee has been around for a long time, even before they supposedly had a monopoly, so it can't
I don't think it's a monopoly, and there is other platforms that take less than 30% cuts. Why don't you go there? Many users are in HIO, for example. You can specify how much you would give HIO from your cuts. You can give them like 10% or something like that. But you're not going there because you know the most people that buy video games for your genre is in Steam. If you produced your game to align with Steam and then said, oh, it's a monopoly, no, you made your game for Steam users, or a game that is usually being consumed on Steam platform. So it's not a monopoly because it's been for a while like that. And again, there is other platforms that you can publish in. It's just like you made your game for Steam and then argued why Steam is actually making me give 30% of my revenue. And it's not, to be honest, it's not the problem. It's not the problem with game prices. And no, it does not look like a very much of a monopoly. Unfortunately, this is not the truth. It's just something that some big AAA devs want to push just so they can have more revenue and income for the investors. It's not gonna help the devs that work there. It's not gonna decrease the prices and gamers can get cheaper games. None of that. It's just investors wanting more money.
Prove this fee actually harmed them. Second, Valve is calling out the numbers used in the lawsuit itself. The complaint claims Steam has a 75% market share, but Valve points to data from the plaintiffs that shows a much lower number. And antitrust law proving a monopoly depends on market share, so this contradiction directly undermines the entire foundation of the case. To top it all off, Valve's filings show they followed a key court rule. The judge requires both sides to meet and confer, and try to resolve issues before filing a motion. Valve's lawyers did just that, and they included email chains from both August 2025 and an earlier exchange from September 2024 to prove it. In these emails, Valve's console outlined the specific defects they saw in the consumer complaint, arguing that key claims lacked detail and were even contradicted by evidence. But the plaintiff's lawyers refused to make any changes. This documented refusal strengthens Valve's position in court, showing the judge that the motion to dismiss was actually just a last resort. Now, you might be wondering, what does this all mean for gamers? The outcome of this case could go one of two ways. If Valve wins its motion to dismiss the consumer class action, the litigation will be dramatically smaller, focusing only on the developer claims. This would be a huge victory for Valve and could set a strong precedent for other digital storefronts. So if the judge decides to agree with Valve, they would be throwing out the consumer class action. But the real wild card is what happens to all those secret documents. Ubisoft, Epic, and Microsoft are not directly suing Valve. They're simply witnesses in this case. Their role is to provide evidence that sheds light on the PC gaming market and its competitive landscape. These companies have a shared critical interest, protecting their trade secrets. And here's why it might matter to you. First, if a judge decides to unseal any of these documents, even just a few, it would give the public a never-before-seen look behind the curtain of the gaming industry. We could learn the exact terms of Epic's exclusive deals, the internal revenue numbers for Microsoft PC games, or how Ubisoft's own store truly stacks up against Steam. Second, the data itself could become powerful evidence. For example, if the documents show that Steam's rivals have consistently failed to compete despite major investments and exclusive content, it could strengthen the plaintiff's argument that Valve's policies...
It's a monopoly, but again, they are not. It's not actually a monopoly. You can know that just by studying the public numbers, not only the confidential numbers, but the confidential numbers, if they and the files really went out, it will help, by the way, the new upcoming platforms that want to do the same. So it's a very, very interesting thing. To be honest, there is a part of me that really wants to see these numbers, and there is a part of me that wanted to be kept confidential because I work in the gaming industry and I would love to see things stable for me. But there's a very curious part of me that I really want to see these files. But mostly it's just like I'm trying. I'm with balancing things and keeping things like it is and trying to push on the really strong points that actually help gamers, like developing better pipelines for the AAA companies like Ubisoft that just want to increase prices instead of actually working, developing better games and stuff like that. I'm not focusing on just exposing the information, but it would be very interesting if they went public. I would definitely review them in this channel.
Are indeed a major obstacle. On the other hand, if the data reveals that Epic or Microsoft or even Ubisoft's PC gaming business is thriving, it could help Valve argue that the market is more competitive than the plaintiffs claim. Ultimately, the information from these other companies isn't meant to take down Valve. It's meant to either support the plaintiffs' claims of a monopoly or help Valve defend itself. It really just depends on what the data shows. If the plaintiffs eventually win the full case, Steam could be forced to lower its commission or change their rules. The plaintiffs' lawyers claim this could lead to lower game prices, but most gamers know that's simply not true, as if developers get a lower fee, they would just keep those savings for themselves rather than dropping game prices. So the way this lawsuit goes could shape the future of Steam and we are less than a few weeks away from reaching the next stage. So subscribe to stay updated on what happens.
A very amazing video by Water CS2. Definitely go and check out his channel. He always covers very amazing drama videos about Steam. I would definitely go and watch him regularly. So thanks for watching. Definitely go and subscribe. We want to hit 1000 subscribes as soon as possible, and hit also that bell button. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.